Hi everyone, my name is Amina Atadiola Popola and I am the creative director behind Fabulously Modest Sewing Studio, which is a Facebook group dedicated to all you sewing enthusiasts out there. Today, I'll be showing you how I made this fabulous 180-degree circle skirt using the circle calculator I shared with the group earlier. In case you missed my posting, you can download the calculator at the end of this video, or I'll also embed the link to the download location, so it's free for everyone to download. So in this video or series of video, as the case may be, I hope to simplify the method of making any type of circle skirt, either 360, 270, 180, 90 degree, any type of circle skirt. And also with the calculator, you can use the calculator to incorporate any kind of circular shape into your garment. For example, I use the 90 degree to make this 90 degree flare, like a flounce, and I attached it to the sleeve of this top. You can also use the calculator to make a peplum top. You can use it to make a peplum dress. You can also use it to make a peplum cape, which is a cape that will attach to the neck of your dress. So in this segment, I will be explaining and showing you six major steps to use the calculator. The first one, I'm going to show you how to use the calculator. The only thing that you need to input in that calculator is just your waist measurement. You take the measurement of your waist and you record it, and the calculator will automatically calculate the radius that you need to make your garment. I have simplified the method. You don't need to memorize C is equal to 2 pi r, which is a grade 5 or grade 11 maths. You don't need to do all the maths. I've already simplified everything for you in this calculator. All you need is just for you to input your waist measurement. Also, I will show you how to lay out your fabric for cutting, because depends on the kind of skirt you want to make. There are different ways of laying out your fabric. For 360 degree, for 270, for 180, for 90, there are different ways that you fold your fabric. Also, I'll be showing you the simplified method of marking your fabric before you cut. I'll also be showing you how to add seam allowance to your garment, to your fabric before you cut it. I'll also show you how to cut your fabric, of course, and how to actually sew the fabric using a professional method, so that the fabric, your garment, will be also neat inside and out. So let's get started. To get started, please have the circle calculator with you. I hope you've all downloaded the calculator. You will need a calculator. You will need a pen for taking instructions if you wish. You need a tape measure. You need your sewing pins. I have some sewing pins showing you here. You need the corkboard pin. This is the corkboard pin, similar to the one that we use in the office. So you need that. You need your shear or scissors, as the case may be. You need the marking pen or the tailor's chalk. You need your pattern paper if you want to make a pattern out of it. Or you can use your fabric. You can mark your fabric as well. Then you need your thread for sewing. You need a sewing machine, of course, and in case you don't have a sewing machine, you can also hand sew in it. So now, let's get started with the calculator. I hope you've all downloaded the circle calculator. I'll be showing you how to use the calculator to calculate any degree of circle skirt or any degree of circle that you need. For 360 degree, you can use either inches, which is in imperial, or you can use the centimeter cell, which is metric. For the purpose of this video, I'll be using imperial, which is inches. I'll be using 32 inches waist measurement. And if you want to use the centimeter, you can also input your centimeter. You measure your waist. You measure your waist circumference, and you input it either in the inches or centimeter cell, whichever one you prefer. So for me, I'll be using 32 inches waist measurement, and I will show you can input it. If I want to make 360 degree, you just need to input it in the 360 degree column. If you want to make 180 or any type of circle you want, you just put it in the right column and the calculator will automatically calculate the radius that you need. So for this video, I'm using 32 inches. I will be inputting the 32 inches waist circumference in the inches cell, and the output I got is 9.22 radius, and that's what we'll be using to mark and cut our fabric. One thing you should know about this calculator, I don't want you to round up to the nearest number. So if you have like 32, the radius is 9.55, so I'll be using 9.5 radius to make the garment. Let's get started with the cutting of the fabric. We already input our 32 inches waist measurement in the calculator, and the radius we got was 9.5 inches, and that's what we'll be using to cut our fabric. Typically, a 2-yard fabric is enough for 180 degree circle skirt, either 2 yards or 2 meters. 2 meters, you use less than 2 meters actually. If you're using a 60 inches wide fabric, you use 1.8 meter of fabric. But if you are using 45 inches wide fabric, which is typical to all Ankara and some native fabric, which is 45 inches in width, you use 2 yards of fabric. So this is my 2-yard beautiful Ankara fabric, and every fabric comes from the manufacturer with 2 selvage ends. You have so this is my 2-yard open up. Okay, so we have the selvage ends, 2 selvage ends, and you have the 2 cutting edges. To make, always do your marking on the wrong side of your fabric. So I'm going to fold this. To make 180 degree skirt, you just need to fold into 2. So I'm going to fold this into 2 equal parts on the wrong side of the fabric. So I have my fabric folded on the wrong side of the fabric and placed on my table, such that I have the fold edge facing me and I have the 2 selvages facing the other side. I folded the fabric into 2 for 180 degree circle skirt. So I have the fold edge and I have the 2 selvage ends. For a circle skirt, I will advise that the first thing you measure out before you actually input the radius is the seam allowance that you want to use. So my seam allowance I plan to use for this skirt is 1 inch seam allowance. So I'll be taking the measurement from this edge. So I'll be using my ruler to take the measurement. This is 1 inch. This is increment of 1 inch. So my 1 inch will now be from this place here, the edge of the fabric, exactly. So I'll measure 1 inch out. So this 1 inch is my seam allowance, and I will explain why you need to do the seam allowance out first before you actually input your radius in the on the fabric. One thing with radius, with any circle, the higher the radius, the wider the circumference. The higher the radius, the number of the radius, the higher the circumference, and we don't want to include the seam allowance in the calculator so that it doesn't increase the radius. It doesn't include, because the circumference will increase and of course our radius will increase. So you don't want to do that. That's my 1 inch seam allowance, which I have marked out. Now from the edge of the seam allowance, this will be the apex. If I don't have the seam allowance, this will be the apex, the tip of the fabric. But now this 1 inch, after the 1 inch, this is the apex. So I asked you to have a cork pin handy, and the purpose of that cork pin is to put your tape measure in place. So I'll be using the cork pin. This is my tape measure. Most tape measures, they come with holes. So you put your cork pin in and you place it at the apex, which is the edge of the fabric. So I place this in, I mount it down because I don't want it to move while I'm doing my measurement. And if you don't even have cork pin, you can use your tape, like your sellotape, to hold it in place. I can use my sellotape. If I don't have that, I can use my sellotape to hold it in place so that it doesn't shift. So usually I use both actually to make it secure. Place it inside, put it in here, and this will secure your tape in place while you take your measurement. So because these are just the two salvage ends, so this is the only place I'm going to have seam allowance, because this is fold edge. So from the apex, now I start taking my measurement of 9.5. So I come down, see how that is being secured in place, because that makes cutting and sewing easy. There's so many few techniques that you can use to make your life easy when you're sewing. So I have my 9.5 marking here, then I do that. Then I come to this side too. I have my 9.5. Okay. Now then I now go round. So I do my 9.5 marking. Start in place. I have my 9.5. Usually you always mark on the wrong side of your fabric. You don't mark on the right side of the fabric, because it's easier to clean, especially if you're doing like silk fabric or some fiber, those fabric that are rich in fiber. You don't want to mark on the wrong side, because sometimes it's hard for you to get the chalk out. So always mark on the wrong side of the fabric. So I have my 9.5. You can use your French curve to join this, or you can use freehand. Because I've been doing this for a long time, so I will just use freehand to join my radius. That's the radius of my skirt. Now that we already have the radius, now what the other measurement that we need is the length of the skirt. So we've used 32 inches waist, and we need 23 inches in length for the skirt. The desired length of the skirt is 26 inches. Usually the length comes from the waist. You start measuring the length of your dress of your skirt from the waist. But from here to here we already have 9.5, and so I'm going to add 9.5 plus 23. So I have 32.5, and I'm also going to add additional 1 inch allowance for the skirt, for the hemming of the skirt, and I'm going to add ½ inch to join my waist, because I will be adding a lining for this skirt. So I will need to add 32.5 plus 1 as the hemming of the skirt, then plus 0.5 for the hemming for the hemming of the waistband, or attachment of the waistband or the lining. So I have 34. Now from this apex, I'm going to measure 34 down. So I have 34 inches down. Then from there, I will continue measuring 34. So I will go all the way while my fabric is still, my pin and my tape are there. I'll go all the way and measure 34. All around. Go ahead and cuff the hem. Now I have my skirt, my 180-degree circular skirt being cut out. Okay, this is my 180 circular skirt. And good thing is always good to mark on the wrong side of your fabric. So I can pin this together, then I can take it to my sewing machine and start sewing. So join me in the next segment where I'll be showing you how to do professional sewing of this skirt. Thank you.